Now I'm very excited to bring back a man who has a great taste for capping college football as well as bourbon and sevens. You've heard him on many radio shows and sports podcasts all over the nation. Happy to welcome back Mr. Tony George from DocSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at TGeorgeSports. Tony, here we are, my man. It's coming into the holidays here. I hear it's a little busy in Vegas right now. What's going on?
Well, we got that F1 race here. Got the whole city shut down. They've been working on the strip, repaving all the streets. It's been a nightmare for locals. It's snarling traffic. And, this happens to be a weekend that I've got people in town and things going on and podcasts downtown, all this crap. And it's just about 300,000 people flying in for this thing. And it's just been crazy. I don't quite get it. F1 is not an American sport, so to speak, so we got all this Euro trash in town I got to deal with this week. So hopefully, and no offense if you're buying football plays for me and you're from Europe, but at the end of the day, it's driving me crazy. So I don't see how it benefits the city. They spent like $300 million getting ready for this thing. They had to dig up all the pavement on the streets. I mean, excavate all the asphalt off the street and lay down a special asphalt just for the race tires. And then when the race is over, they're going to dig it all back up again.
I don't understand where the money came from. I don't understand what it's for. I don't understand why it has to be Vegas if they're blocking everything off right away. And I would hate to be somebody down there just trying to have a weekend or something, not caring about F1 and just dealing with all those blockades. But man, we can go on. We can do a whole podcast about that, my friend. But I'm sorry you're going through it. But you stay you stay away from that this weekend, my friend. But either way, we got college football coming on, and we love that.
But we have the bourbon and sevens right here.
Well, there you go. Already starting. I love it.
Come on.
It's afternoon. We're fine. We're absolutely golden.
It's happy hour on the Odds Breakers podcast today.
It's always happy hour, my friend, and we're going to get right into a couple good questions because you don't have a ton of time, so I want to get through. But I always ask my guests. I'm curious about what value, we can find some value. Sometimes you catch some teams on the spin up, there's a couple of them recently, like San Jose State, people caught them on their way up, and then there's some that are on their way down. Give me three teams that are trending up in college football that could have some value.
No, I think we're going to talk about one today, UNLV. You just mentioned San Jose State, Mountain West Conference. Mountain West, one of my babies. I love the Mountain West. I love me some Mountain West football, and I love me some Mountain West basketball. One of my specialty conferences, and I think UNLV, we're going to talk about them and Air Force here. And on the other side of the coin, there's one that's trending down in the same game. There's Air Force is trending down.
Well, that was definitely one of mine trending down as well. Yeah, and there's reasons for that, and I'm real excited that you picked that game because I do have a play on it as well.
Another one I think you want to keep an eye out for trending up's Missouri. Missouri is playing football right now. Look what they did to Tennessee. I know they're laying 11.5 this week to Florida. What the hell's Florida got? They're on the road up there. It's going to be freezing up there in Columbia. The Tigers are all fired up. They got a great guy from Appalachian State has stepped in there and done a great job. They're not out of the mix in the SEC, so they're trending up. Another team I think that I've been keeping an eye on that's been playing good balls, Georgia Tech, and they're playing Syracuse this weekend. They might pull out a can of whoop ass on Syracuse because Syracuse's offense is anemic. Syracuse's offense could step in and play for the Giants right now, and you couldn't tell the difference.
Well, that's where their quarterback's from.
Yeah,
DeVito.
Exactly.
And he played 1 year at Illinois, but man, that's true. It's funny. UNLV has been just undervalued all year, and same with Missouri, and we don't even know the ceiling on them yet. So I find that funny. It's like they keep covering spreads and they keep proving people wrong. So I find that amazing for these teams, and they're very good selections because I'm not sure if they found their peak yet, and that's the problem. Where is the peak, and where's the valley too? You got to say about some of these teams because I picked Arkansas State. Nobody's talking about them. They won their 2 of their last 3 games and covered against a very good team last week. Arkansas State, I don't like Jones. I don't love the coach, but I'm telling you, they beat both Louisianas, the Monroe, the Lafayette, and then they covered against South Alabama. So give them some credit,
They were the Red Wolves. They were one of the lowest bottom-rated, power-rated teams in college football to start the season. They were going to be everybody's whipping boy. And guess what? You're right. They have risen from the ashes. Even in losses, they've competed.
Oh, for sure. I agree. Another one's UCF. UCF, they've been screwing up spreads based on turnovers, but their yards per play is over 1 for a margin. I'm kind of looking at that one this weekend against Texas Tech. I haven't fired on it or anything, but I find that an interesting dog position for UFC or UCF. And then I picked Coastal Carolina. They got their heads out of their asses, and they're playing really well too. So, so those are trending up. Trending down to Duke. Duke's lost without their quarterback. We don't know what's going on. And even if he plays more, he's still injured, and they're a mess. Georgia Southern's been dropping their games and trying not to be.
Oh man,
they're trying not to be the Sun Belt East. Showing up, they don't want it. Apparently, they don't want to get in the championship game. And then Florida Atlantic, what the hell's going on with them? They're kind of trending down lately too. Florida Atlantic. I would have thought they would have kept, going on, and they're just dropping games that they shouldn't. And I just feel like they might have given up on the season.
I had Georgia Southern last week against Marshall.
Yeah, how did they lose to Marshall? Marshall's a bad team this year.
Shocking, 2.5 points. I mean, I had a shitty Saturday last week. Hey, look, I felt like it is.
I did too.
Sucked,
I think a lot of us did.
I stunk it up, but I was real confident with that. I had a 4-unit position on them, for my clients and personally, and I was shocked at the way they played that game. I mean, they just. And some of these teams, it's Jekyll and Hyde from week to week. And the teams that are remaining consistent are the teams you want to bet on, and the ones that are inconsistent, but they have it in them, but I'm not willing to bet my money anymore thinking they're going to go ahead and pull their head out of their ass. No, I'm just going to stay with the teams that have been consistent.
Oh, for sure. I think that's what you want to do. Put your money where you can see not a big variance between blowing out teams and getting blown out, and all that weird stuff you get in the MAC. You get that crap in the MAC. Like Toledo's never been consistent. Look what happens. They 10-point favorite on the road. They lose to Bowling Green outright by double digits. They've always been an inconsistent team, and so that was a trap spot for them, I felt. But that's what you got to look out for. Let's get on the consistent teams here at the end. But we have a big slate coming up in college football. Some fun games to talk about here, and let's get right into it. I picked 3, you picked 3, and we can do some hodgepodge if time at the end. But we'll start with San Diego State versus San Jose State. San Jose State's a massive favorite, 14.5, total 49.5. Now, I didn't include them in their teams trending up because they already trended up. Look, they're laying 14.5 against San Diego State. What the hell happened to this program, man? Brady Hoke, what is going on over there? They have just been the worst form of the Aggies that I've seen in years, right? So it's blowing my mind how bad they are in football. They also dropped one to BYU in basketball, but that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about college basketball later in the season. But I think this is interesting because San Jose State's been scoring, and San Diego State's down in the dumps, and that's why you see this big spread. But the reason why I think they haven't quit is because I did see them come back a little bit against Colorado State. They backdoored that thing. They outscored Colorado State 19-7 in the second half. So I did see some effort there. And when I see effort in the second half, I can kind of look for that in the second game. Now, the spread is larger than what I have, but I think I like the total a little bit more. I know both teams play a little slower, but when San Diego State's defense ranks 127th in success rate, 25th in allowing explosive plays, it doesn't matter how slow they play. Points are going to be scored here. San Jose State scored 35 or more points over their last 4 games in the Mountain West. 35 or more. I think they can get in the 40s against this horrible San Diego State defense, but I think San Diego State's going to score 10 to 20 points. I think this total's too low at 49.5. I think it's been way underbought. I also think that San Diego State has a little something to play for, being that, same state, a little bit of a rivalry going on right there. And I still think that the Spartans defense, San Jose State, is still a little suspect, giving up to over 26 points per game, allowing 5.5 yards per play. I'd take the over 49.5, my friend.
Well, they almost put that up against Fresno State last week. San Jose State did alone.
Yeah,
that was an eyebrow raising score too.
It was. I was on Fresno, and I lost. That was one of my losses last week.
Man. I saw that, and I follow the Mountain West. I thought that was too close to call. I really did. I thought it was too close to call. I just thought that, and then I saw that score, and I'm like, what the hell? I'll guarantee you, of course, Rocky Long's 4 or 5 years removed from San Diego State, but they hung their hat on defense for 2 decades.
Yeah.
And now they suck.
They're one of the worst defenses in college football right now.
I mean, ridiculous. It's shocking, actually.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you on that one, buddy.
Yeah, the only team that they held to single digits was Nevada. They're the worst team in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
They have to be the worst team in the Mountain. I don't know if they beat Hawaii, but they know they lost Hawaii by double digits. Yeah, they are definitely the worst team, I think, in the Mountain West, and they lost 6-0 that game. But let's move on to another Mountain West game, because that's been the trend for us. We love Mountain West coming in here, and UNLV, a team that you said trended up, against Air Force, a team that's trending down. I'll let you get started with this one.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is, one of the best hires in college football in the last year has been Barry Odom. No one's talking about it at UNLV. Mm-hmm. This guy could be up for Coach of the Year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look what he's done. UNLV couldn't get a lap dance to Spearmint Rhino with a fistful of hundreds. These guys were terrible. And now look at them. They're 8-2 straight up and 9-1 against the spread. And they should have beat Fresno State.
Best spread record in football, I believe. Best spread record in football.
Yeah, and they're going to cover another one. The last 2 weeks, UNLV has put up 90 points. The last 2 weeks, Air Force has put up 16. Come on. Be serious. They're laying 3.5 here. And plus, Larrier for Air Force is doubtful he's going to play. And that's why
that's the key thing. It's Zach Larrier being out. He was hurt last week again. He was banged up from October, and then you lose. They're so lost that they lost to freaking Hawaii. How much has that changed? Now they do at least have a week to prep the other guy, but the other guy is not that good. I can see him turn over the ball. But here's the cue about I'm taking UNLV too. I'm sure that's where you're getting at.
Hell yeah.
I took him at +4. I like him at +3. I like him to win this game outright on the money line. UNLV is good against the run. They only allow 3.7 rushing yards per attempt. So they have time to prep against the option. They've seen it last year. They did get blown out. A little bit of a revenge spot now. Yeah, UNLV is I think they're going to win this game, especially with the Air Force's big woes here. Dropping 2 games. They are completely suspect right now coming into the Mountain West Championship.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Barry Odom, he's old school. He played ball at Missouri. He was defensive coordinator under Gary Pinkel there. Then he got the head job. Now, Missouri's not bitching because they fired him, because they got a good coach now. Look what Missouri's doing. I mean, Missouri's just beating the hell out of people, So Missouri's happy. But I'll guarantee you right now, people out here in Las Vegas, they're happy. They're happy with Barry Odom. He's putting butts in seats. People are excited about this program. Maliava, good quarterback, game manager. He's got pedestrian numbers. He's 11 touchdown passes, only 4 picks, a little over 2,000 yards. But Barry Odom he reminds me of Whittingham at Utah. He brought physical football, like what Boise State has done, why Boise State's been so successful. Physical football. We're going to get physical on defense, and we're going to pound the rock. The old 2 basics, like old Big Ten style football. And he's brought that to the Mountain West. He's brought it to UNLV. And he's got a lot of speed on his team too, believe it or not. Defensively, I think they're going to be okay to cover the type of offense that Air Force runs. especially with Larry are out, or if he does play, he's not going to be 100%. Give me UNLV here. Love
100%. Yep, me too. We're on the same boat there. Go Rebs, my friend. All right, let's move on to the next game. And I picked a big one here, Georgia. Georgia has been just rocking it lately, and they're playing at Tennessee now.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious that their toughest game was Missouri, but that was at home. So their toughest road game is I would say this is their toughest road game against Tennessee because that's how easy their schedule was this year.
Yeah. Knoxville's tough to play in.
It is, and the Dogs 0.97, whatever, 1 net yard per advantage, per play advantage over the Vols this week. It makes the spread look a little bit large, but there's a couple processes going on here. If you're looking at the stats for the whole year, Tony, I think that you would think that it should be a little bit lower. But if you look at recency, like the last 3 games or something, you would think that, Georgia should be 14 points favorite. So it's kind of stuck in the middle here in this situation. I mean, one thing that's weird about Georgia this year, they haven't covered well on the road. They only had 2 real road games this year, and they didn't cover either. One was named Vanderbilt too. Yeah. So that makes me wonder a little bit about Munkin being gone and them with Beck, rather than the quarterbacks that they had in the past, obviously. Brock Bowers is back, and everybody's talking about that. You have to think they're going to get up for this game because they've had it circled. But, man, I almost think Josh Heupel can dig something up here. And I'm not going to bet on the full game spread, but I'm going to consider maybe Tennessee first quarter or something. I think that Heupel can kind of draw something up for them to score right away and maybe be competitive in the first quarter or the first half. I have to look at what the number here is for the first quarter. I don't think quarters are up here. So it's usually a lot lower in these situations. But Tennessee's a dog by plus 2.5 for the first quarter. So they you hope for a tie in the first quarter here. But I'm going to consider that. I'm not saying I'm playing it. Anything on this game, Tony?
I thought the number would be higher, which gives you an indication of what odds makers think about Georgia. As bad as Tennessee looked last week, the public perception is just fade the piss out of them against the number 1 team in the country because they're just going to get their butts handed to them. And yet the number's only 10.5. Mm-hmm. That to me is the odds makers are tipping their hand a little bit. Heupel's going to throw the kitchen sink at them. They got nothing to lose now. They're out of the SEC title game now after that loss last week. There's no chance they can get in. So they're gonna play loose. They're gonna go for broke. And I just keep hearkening back to, you talked about road games. Not only did they struggle against Vanderbilt, Auburn should have beat Georgia.
Yeah.
They played them down there. They suck. They won. Auburn is terrible. And they beat them 27-20 on the road. Mm. If I had a gun to my head and they said, pick this game, I'd take Tennessee plus 10.5.
Yeah, I understand that. And there's just so many situations. Now, Georgia has covered 5 of the last 6 matchups, but it hasn't been Heupel that
they're not playing anybody.
Yeah.
They're not playing anybody.
I meant Tennessee matchups is what I meant.
I thought you meant Georgia. I mean, I don't see them. They've had such an easy schedule. It's right. Speaking, and I guess since we're on SEC discussion, teams that you and I both left out, shame on us, for teams that are on the rise. Alabama's on the rise. They're playing as good as anybody in the country right now.
Alabama and Auburn are. And hopefully that makes a little bit more of an exciting Iron Bowl coming up next weekend. So I'm excited for that. But no, this is, I can't fade Georgia for the full game. I can just see them getting it together at the end. But I just think that Tennessee could come out firing here, and maybe a first quarter or first half number is okay on them. So
they'll be catching around 5.5, 6 at halftime.
It's 5.5 now. Yeah, it's 5.5 right now. So I
think might get. If you want to bet that, I'll guarantee you by Saturday. We're taping this on Wednesday. By Saturday, this line's going to be off 10.5 and up to 11, maybe 11.5. And that first half line, if you get that first half line around 6, 6.5. That's a key number. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Tennessee just come out. Well, they're going to come out with their ears pinned back. It's whether their quarterback can perform or not. You don't know what you're going to get with Tennessee's quarterback, it seems like, from game to game.
100%. You're not. And I think that Milton is just much better home than he is on the road. And on the road, you can't touch him, but at home, it's pretty good. And
Knoxville's worth full 3 points.
At least 3.25 I have. So, yeah, I like Knoxville. All right, let's move on to the Pac-12 a little bit here. Oh, man, there's some really good Pac-12 games going on. Washington versus Oregon State. That is amazing. Oregon State's minus 2.5 now. Man, that thing has been climbing. I'll check my Betfred odds screen, and I think it's about 2.5. Do you have anything on this game? I have something on it.
Well, we talked about it on we have a show over at Docs on our YouTube channel called Gridiron Six Pack. I do every week. We do 3 college and 3 pro games, and Griff Murphy, he liked Oregon State in this game. He put them out as a freebie here. He liked them, but he liked the under in this game, the way Oregon State's been playing defense lately. I'd probably lean under that 63.5. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon because the entire freaking universe is talking about how Oregon State's going to rail them in there in Corvallis. And speaking of 3-point home field advantage, Corvallis is 3-point home field advantage for Oregon State. But I think Washington could argue that they're one of the best teams in the country too. So I don't want to buck them. I think they might go in there and beat them. If they go in there and beat Oregon State on Saturday night and you don't move them in front of Florida State, something's wrong with you. Because
they should have been in front of Florida State. Now the Pac-12 is 19-2 in non-conference games. That just shows you how much of a sham this whole 14 playoff has been for a long time. Yeah. But either way, that's getting fixed. Thank goodness next year.
Yeah, I do think in that UCLA USC game, UCLA. I like USC in this game. They've had a gauntlet of tough games to play. USC's Achilles heel is their defense is just absolutely deplorable. And, it's not that Caleb Williams isn't playing at a Heisman level. It's that his defense is handing him a dog turd every series. You got to go out and score again now. You got to go out and score again now. You got to go out. They're falling forward for 9 yards a carry. We're giving up chunk plays at 30 to 40-yard chunk plays nonstop. Firing the defensive coordinator didn't help jack crap. It's not going to. Lincoln Riley's getting exposed, and this is what happens when you don't have talent on defense. They can't even tackle. So you like UCLA, not USC?
No,
I don't. All that being said, UCLA, that quarterback is not adapted to their offense. Let's take 2 common opponents here: Arizona State. USC's 2-0 against them. UCLA's 0-2. In those 2 games against those 2 common opponents, you know what? UCLA managed 17 points. USC put up 90. I'm telling you right now, I like USC to come out here and take out a lot of frustration, and I think USC gets a solid home double-digit win this weekend.
All right, so this is one I disagree on because of a couple quick things.
Good. Steak and a beer.
we might have that on something later, my friend. UCLA played Arizona and Arizona State when they were freaking red hot. USC played those teams in the beginning of the year. So I think, I'll say Arizona was just in transition in October 7th for that. And Arizona kept up. I think that 7 points is too much. Now, I'm not saying UCLA is going to necessarily win it outright. I think it's going to be a 1-score game, but you said it all right there. Their defense sucks. What else are we going to look at? Here's another thing I like about UCLA. There's rumors that Chip Kelly's going to get fired. What I do know about Chip Kelly is the teams usually like him. The teams don't hate him, right? So when Chip Kelly is on the hot seat, I think this is just a massive spot for this team to get their heads out of their rear ends. And they do have a quarterback playing in Ethan Garbers. I know the other 2 are banged up, but Ethan Garbers should be starting this game, and he's the one with the 68% completion percentage and 3 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's the better quarterback out of the 3. So I think they cover, but they're 6.5 if you like the UCLA part or the USC part. So we'll have slight disagreement on that, but there is 6.5 and 7 on this. So
Arizona was up 17-0 on US. The USC game is when Arizona started playing ball. They were up 17-0. They still couldn't put them away though.
Yeah,
USC showed they're a championship team. This is before they were beaten, but they showed they were a championship team by coming back in that game and posting a number against them and winning the ball game. Clearly, you have the better quarterback. I mean, the guy's got a freaking Heisman Trophy for crying out loud sitting on his mantle. You know, you got a better quarterback in USC. I don't see good. I don't see good quarterback play out of UCLA. I think USC. I think this will be their best game in the last 5 weeks.
All right. Well, here you go. They lost 4 of the last 5. Cal was a nail biter. They probably should have lost that game against Cal. I mean, this is their home run spot. But are the players going to play for Caleb Williams? Do they care about him? He's the one that's going to be $100 millionaire while they're sitting there probably not getting drafted. So this is he's sitting there acting up a little bit and saying weird stuff. I'm on UCLA for sure on this one. But here's the thing about Oregon State. I took Oregon State early in the week and it was +1.5. I still say the money line's good for now at -135. Don't pay over -140. I think that the problem with this game, and I want Washington to win as a fan. I want the most chaos possible for this 14 playoff. I want I want undefeated Florida State, undefeated Michigan or Ohio. Undefeated team. His defense ranks 131st in success rate against the run. Number 2, Washington ranks 3rd in passing success rate, but the Oregon State's decent against the pass. 36 in defense success rate. They got some good secondary there, so that's where they need to get 2 or 3 stops this game. If they can get 2 stops this game, they should be able to run all over Washington. And 50 degrees, possible rain. It screams Oregon State here, and it's just such a bad spot for Washington. They've been just 100% all year. I think that Oregon State does get the win. I don't want that to happen, but that's where I put my money on, Tony.
Yeah, I think it screams under with the weather and a lot of running involved too.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I would certainly look at the under in this situation as well. Now for the biggest game of the week, my friend. Where all the years going to go for you and I.
Oh boy,
Wisconsin, my friend, is hosting Nebraska. I had my Nebraska hat sitting out. Now it's gone.
I was going to put it on for this play. Damn it.
Okay. Well, the good news is that you're probably. I mean, if you look at the trends, it's not looking good for Nebraska from a winning standpoint. Now they have covered. Tony, they have covered, my friend. But I have something for this game too. It's this shirt. Right when they joined the Big Ten, as you see right here, it's Bucky's first annual corn roast in November 1st, 2011. I bought this shirt before I went to the game.
All right,
and we roasted some corn that day, my friend. We roasted a lot of corn because we destroyed Nebraska. Now, ever since then, the Badgers won every single game except for the very next one. I think they're like 8-0 run against Nebraska. Okay. Now
I can't find my Nebraska hat. I'm pissed off.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We know where your heart is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend anybody but you and I to watch this game, first of all, because these freaking teams are underachieving, pathetic losers, and they're both on brand new coaches. And the Badgers getting their asses kicked 24-10. It was 24-3 the whole game against Northwestern as a double-digit favorite. It's just freaking despicable. I mean, but Nebraska's been leaking oil all over year themselves. Losing at home to Maryland, their quarterback situation is pure hell. It's like a competition to find out who's throwing the most interceptions with Heinrich Harburg. And now Harburg's banged up. Is it Sims going to play today? I don't know. I'm guessing Sims. Maybe you know more than me about this, but some of the stats though, what I will say, and this is why this spread is past 3, Tony, they're skewed because Wisconsin played 3.5 games with a backup quarterback freshman, a redshirt freshman in Locke, and without their top running backs. Now, they got Braylon Allen back last week, and he didn't look great, but they got him back, and they got Tanner Mordecai back. Just based on that, I can see them scoring when Nebraska can't score in a very ruckus Camp Randall Stadium. And with the injuries to Nebraska's quarterback and really all over the team, I think Wisconsin wins by 7, man. I took the -4.5 for Wisconsin. That's what I would recommend playing in this situation. Wisconsin keeps roasting that corn in Camp Randall.
Well, I'm going to bet you a steak and a beer. I'll take Nebraska to 4.5, but that's not my pick.
You're on, my friend. You're on.
First of all, and by the way, I bought you drinks when I was in Phoenix 2 weeks ago. So just so you know, so you're going to have to not only steak and a beer, it's going to be a steak and 3 or 4 whiskey.
Look, that's no problem. I have no problem paying that back. But what's even sweeter is that steak. I want a ribeye, bone-in ribeye. Tomahawk style. All right,
there you go. Right, Barry's Prime, right there at Circle. You got it, buddy. But here's my come here, looky here. We're live. I'm picking the underdog. This is the underdog right here, baby. Yeah,
that's a good looking dog. What are you doing with Tony over there? Jesus,
he's a pain in the ass. But at the end of the day here, I like the under 36.5. I mean, what's Nebraska going to do? How are they going to score? Nebraska's offense is 116th out of 133 teams in yards produced. They are 129th out of 133 teams in passing yards, and they're the number 1 team in college football at fumbling the damn ball. We give the ball away more than anybody could. That offense is going down faster than a fat kid on a seesaw. And I'll tell you what, but here's the strength. They're number 17th on defense in yards allowed and number 4 in yards allowed per play. And last time I checked, your beloved Badgers are not that good on offense, buddy. And
that's my biggest fear is them stopping the run because they're just amazing. If Nebraska does one damn good thing, it is stopping the run and somewhat the pass as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't show against Michigan, but that's Michigan. I think that Nebraska can slow this down. That's why I kind of like your underplay as well.
Yeah,
I don't think you can make a total low enough for this game. And Wisconsin's not going to exactly make it easy. I'm thinking this could be a 13-6 type game myself.
Oh, 13-10. Because I'm covering out 4.5 when I say that. If Nebraska had 14 points in this game, I literally would be shocked, especially and they're talking about putting Purdy in there. Purdy, the quarterback for San Francisco, Chubba Purdy, his brother. He's third string. He's getting a lot of snaps in practice in Lincoln is what I hear right now.
Yeah.
Because Sims, this guy, he hadn't seen a game in 5 weeks because he turned it over 9 times in 7 quarters, the first 2 games. And you know what he did the second he touched the ball? He turned it over. His third play, he fumbled it.
I thought he'd be way better from Georgia Tech, and he wasn't.
Oh, he just has been an absolute bust. This guy, he's a human. He makes Adrian Martinez we had look like an amateur when it comes to turning the ball over. That's how bad he is. You're better off with Chubb in there because he could take off and run it too. I don't think it matters against Wisconsin's got our number. But I'll tell you one thing. One thing you son of a bitches have done to us since we joined the Big Ten is jam that ball down our throat. You had running backs setting records at home against Nebraska. 300 and some yards. I can't remember the guy's name, but tell you what, you're not going to do that this year against this defense.
It was more Melvin Gordon, 426 yards in 3 quarters.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I don't give a shit whether I win or lose. You're still buying.
I think John Taylor might have. All right. Well, here we are. In this number, and it's kind of a never land between the 3 and the 6. Anyway, you got 4.5.
Yeah.
Who's going to be closer? I mean, the low total certainly points to your direction, but this is going to be a fun one. And I'll enjoy buying this stake if I certainly lose this one. So let's go to a quick recap here. I'm taking the over in San Jose State, San Diego State 49.5, 2.5 stars. Both of us are taking UNLV plus the 3, at least 2 stars on that baby, probably 3. Nothing on Georgia, Tennessee for sure. Washington, Oregon State. I'm on the money line for Oregon State for 2.5 stars. We have disagreement on UCLA, USC. Whatever you guys decide, maybe stay off the game, or if you find a 6.5, if you like USC, find the 7. If you like UCLA, it's around there. And then in Nebraska, Wisconsin is going to be our little fun bet here. I like Wisconsin as a play, but hey, the under isn't a bad look either. So that's where Tony's going with the under, my friend. We have a couple quick minutes here, but do you have anything for the NFL early this week, or are you still figuring that out?
You know what? I got my ass kicked in the NFL last week, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing 1 pick and 1 pick only in the NFL. It's my game of the year this week. I have 1 a year, and this is it. I've had this one circled for, about a month. And the line came out right where I thought it was going to come out. I'm going to take advantage of it. I had Detroit last week as a top play. How'd that work out? They pushed. I mean, they couldn't play an ounce of defense.
That was a problem. The money line was good on that.
Yeah.
But the early line is good on that, but the late line that you have to give out on a Sunday is tough, because it's already moved.
Yeah, but
Teasers
that's what we're going to do in the NFL. Just pick one game, and then I got to worry about these boys on Monday night. That's a big one.
Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, you're a big Chiefs fan, and that's going to be interesting. I don't think you have to worry about them. You beat them in the Super Bowl. You're the Super Bowl champs. You shouldn't have to worry about anything for a while. It doesn't matter. Just make the playoffs. Who cares about this game? As a matter of fact, I wouldn't stress too much energy on this one if I could help it.
We were talking, and just here closing out, we were talking about teams trending downward. I've been saying this since week 1. I started saying it, preaching it from the top of the mountain in week 3, and I'm screaming it from the top of the mountain in week 10. The Buffalo Bills are an average team with an average quarterback. And if you're putting any more stock in them than that, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a gunslinging, high variant quarterback. He's either going to lose you the game completely, favored by 8, or he's going to blow somebody away. It's just how is that just in your face style going to work? And right now, people are kind of spying him and not letting him run as much. He's a little fat and happy with the money he's paid. He's now you can see the money not going towards the defense and how that's been working out for them pretty bad. Denver did everything possible to lose that game, even being a +4 in the turnover margin. And Buffalo still choked it up at the end with the short and pass interference, which is the best play in football is to underthrow your receiver so you can draw the flag, unfortunately.
So I'm trying to figure out how you fight. I'm trying to figure out why the hell you fire your offensive coordinator when you can't stop anybody, because your defense is injury riddled.
It's embarrassing. It's the head coach should be able to. You get rid of Dayball and you're blaming your offensive coordinator. Josh Allen got him fired from him being so erratic and the fact that your defense can't bail you out no more. Yep. That's what happened. Matt Milano being injured. It's just a mess. They are missing the playoffs too, and Vegas has them at like -250 to miss the playoffs, and their schedule is absolutely brutal this year. If I was them, you're better off finishing last and getting like a good schedule next year and a good decent draft pick rather than freaking missing the playoffs by one. I know people don't think like that, but that's how the NFL is built. It's built.
I got a $500 ticket on the futures bet for Miami to win that division. I'm feeling really good about that.
You better be feeling good about that, because they are going to probably win that division, my friend. But hey, Tony, I know you have a lot to do today. I really appreciate the time you came on, my man. I had such a good time when you came down here. Was that last week, the week before, or something? I think.
Right
last
there, last game of the World Series.
Yeah. It was about 2 weeks ago. So that was fun. We'll do that again, and I'll be looking you up, like I always do when I come visit, my friend. But for
we'll go kill him in blackjack again over at the OL Cortez.
That was fun. That was a nice, quick score that we had there.
Yes,
but
it was.
We'll have to visit that. Yeah, we are visiting that place, but we're also getting a good steak, and whoever it's on, don't matter. I can't wait to do it. Where could our listeners get your great information and plays?
Well, DocSports.com. Just get over to Doc Sports. Also, check out our YouTube channel. You just follow me on Twitter. It's everything you need to know. And, I'm one of those 100% transparent guys. So at TGeorgeSports, it's right here on this screen here, just on Twitter or on YouTube. Just type in Doc Sports. I'm there. And, of course, you can find me at DocSports.com any day of the week.
Any day of the week, my friend. Make sure you guys check out Tony George. Tony will be texting for sure on Saturday. Best of luck, my friend.
All right, thanks.